Good evening and welcome to LeFilmNation. My name is Nigel. I'm the host from Cellar J Films, and we have our great little other guys over here. Go ahead, William.
Hey, I'm William. I'm a photographer and videographer in Fukuoka, Japan. And John.
Hey, I'm John Bear. I'm a videographer in Iceland, and I have a videography YouTube channel. It's called John Bear.
Voice.
That's right. I think every week we have a new intro that we got to work on our intros more. But anyway,
No, that's
all
all
right.
It's just John is winging it every week. I like it.
And apparently last
man.
week, William was not here last week. He was off partying somewhere. I think he was in France. I don't know. Where were you last week, William?
No, not so far.
Yeah.
I was in the mountains, in above the north of the wall. If you
wow. Wow.
North of the wall.
north of the wall. It was -10.
Oh, wow. Sounds like you're in the northern parts of somewhere. So.
Yeah, in Japan.
Yeah. All right, cool.
That's
All
cool.
right, so tonight we're going to be talking about how photography and videography is parallel and how they work together. And we're going to be having a interview with a street photographer, and also William has a really big, photography background. So I learned a lot of photography from him, and I believe so has John. And we thought it would be kind of interesting to mingle the both together with a really good photographer tonight. So that's what we're doing. We're doing photography, and don't ignore it because it's really, really important, and it teaches you a lot about framing and, use those zoom lenses and, those kind of things. So
We're going to go all about that and interview my friend Alex. But before that, very quickly, I want to talk to you about something else.
Sure.
So we talked 2 episodes ago about the new Blackmagic 6K Pro, and yours truly couldn't resist. And
What?
I just bought it.
Oh, shut
I just
up.
bought the
Already?
Yeah, it arrived.
You-
It arrived like 3-4 days ago.
Gas.
Yeah, gas.
What lens is that you
syndrome.
got attached there?
Yeah.
And I have the best lens. So you're not gonna believe this lens, John.
Yeah.
I know you made a video recently about this Canon f4 lens, which has a pretty good range. This one is a Sigma 17 to 50, constant aperture 2.8.
Oh, that's nice.
Ooh.
It has image stabilization. It's
Ooh.
super compact, super
Wow.
light,
Mm.
and it's parafocal.
Oh, shit.
Parafocal.
It's
Whoa,
parafocal.
snapper balls.
17
Yeah.
to 50?
Yeah.
That's like-
and
Why have I
guess,
not heard of
guess
this
the
lens
price.
before?
Yeah.
Yeah, and guess the price.
Okay, hang on,
$1,000?
Johnny. How much was it? How much was it? $299.
I think you're right on, Nigel. It's about $300.
Yeah.
No.
That's
Wow.
I
so-
was totally guessing,
that's-
by the way. I was totally
That's
guessing.
that's a total steal. That's
Okay, hey,
just
can I
crazy.
ask
How
a
can
question?
you get a lens like that for $300?
I have no idea. It's a really good lens. Okay,
but
so it
where
has-
did you get the lens?
Yeah.
Where did you get the? We're talking more about the lens and the camera, but where did
Yeah,
you get
on
the lens?
Amazon? On Amazon, and
I might
I
have
think
to
it's
pick
the
one up.
perfect lens.
Oh, don't hold
I think
it
it's the
like that.
perfect lens to get this 6K Pro
Yeah.
to be like a real run and gun camera that you don't need any rig to work with.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of like my thinking when buying the 6K Pro is am I gonna finally be able to use it without any rigging? And I think so. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I just have a strap, neck strap, and I shoot like this, and the screen is so bright, and the fact that it pivots, I can just like look at it like this, and I don't need anything else. Like
Yeah.
basically, I have this. Also, the focus ring is as hard stops. So if you ever wanted to use a focus gear, you could, because it's hard stops. So it's very easy to set up.
Okay. Well, that's great. I mean, it was
yeah.
bought used or new, the lens?
New
New.
for 300.
That's crazy.
$300.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty
crazy.
crazy.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow, I can't believe a
and the
$300
IBs
lens, and it's Sigma, right? You said it's Sigma.
Yeah, it's a Sigma. It's a
Wow.
pretty good one. Pretty good Sigma. So, and even at 50 with the IS, and if you use the an X strap plus the image stabilization, it's super steady even at 50. That's pretty crazy. So, I haven't shot outside yet because it's been raining the past 2 days.
Yeah.
So, but I can't wait to just go out and try it actually in the field. just a very good lens. Otherwise, the camera, I mean, if you use two Blackmagic, it's
a Blackmagic.
It's just a Blackmagic that shoots 6K. Oh, and
Have
the
you-
NDs are
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, NDs. Yeah, go ahead.
and the
yeah.
NDs are really cool. And also, what I like is you can actually never access the sensor. There's kind of like a glass in there, so you can never like make the sensor dirty, or it's very easy to clean compared to previous models.
I see.
So all kinds of good stuff.
Have you actually played with 6K footage? Because I've never played with 6K
Yeah.
before. So
Yeah, I
wait,
tried. It's a little heavier.
Yeah.
Like if you play it full size and try to add some color grading on top,
I see.
it's gonna be heavy for sure. You need a good computer.
You could probably just make proxies. That's just the way to get around it.
No, you just have to. I just have to drop the resolution in the
Oh, okay.
settings.
Okay.
Just drop the display resolution halfway, and it's still good enough. Like it looks almost 4K. It's like, you don't need to edit at full resolution. Anyway.
No, I usually
yeah,
edit in like 1080.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Wow.
I don't
it's
think
a
we
new
need to
camera.
go
Nice.
More onto that. Maybe next time, in a few weeks, I will show you something else with this camera.
So are you going to sell your
yeah, what-
4Ks, or are you just going to keep the 4Ks as like your B cams and stuff?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I haven't used it yet, so it's a little early to tell. But so I have new lenses coming,
Yeah.
and if I like it, if I like using this better,
Yeah.
I might just get two and just sell the two 4Ks.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Why don't you just
I don't
rent your gear out and just create like a page on your website and just say rent Fukuoka gear rental? And dude, like you could rent that out for
I
like
rent
$100 a day, like easily. You know?
Yeah, even 200. I've
Yeah.
done it before with people I trust, renting my gear, but it's a kind of worms in legal stuff. Like it's very complicated. Like if you have people breaking your stuff,
Well, you take
need
a
some-
credit card imprint of $2,000. So if they decide to run away with
yeah,
the
you
camera,
need to do that.
you have a PayPal, whatever.
You need to
But
do
I
that,
wouldn't
and that's a
recommend
whole-
it because they just do anyways, I don't want to talk about it. It's people
Yeah.
do all sorts of scammy stuff now, so it's pretty brutal. Cool. So
Anyway.
new camera gear, awesome. I don't have
Yep.
any new camera. I don't have any gas. I have nothing.
Well, anytime you want, you can come and we play with that. And
All right, I'll come
I
over
might,
there
I
and
might
play
go
with your gear.
outside, and actually I might go outside soon with Alex to shoot a video with him with that 6K maybe.
Okay.
So that's a good segue. Let's finally welcome Alex. He's been waiting in the lobby.
Sure. Are we gonna bring Alex
So-
from the streets?
Hey.
Shapow.
Hi guys.
Hey,
Hi.
welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
Thank you for
Alex
having
in the
me.
streets.
Thank you very much. Of course, I'm friends with Will, but I've been listening, watching the podcast for a long time since you guys have started. So I'm kind of a fan.
Thank you, man.
Arigato gozaimasu. Arigato.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for
Thank you,
having
sir.
me.
Thank you, sir. We do have fans, people. We do have fans. We love it.
Wow.
He's been telling me when we stopped the podcast during the summer, the winter. It's been telling
Yeah.
me
The
season
where are you
break.
guys?
Yeah, the season break. Yeah. So, Alex, yeah, it's my first time meeting you, and I've been in your Instagram, and you are an awesome street photographer.
Oh,
and
thank you.
You have the ability to take pictures, secretly, privately in their faces, and they seem to. I've seen some of your videos where you actually talk about, how to get street photography and some of the rules where, you're taking a picture and you pretend you're taking a picture over there, but you're actually taking a picture of them, kind of thing. And you talk about like some of the secret ways of doing it. For me, I'm a little scared, because
Yes,
video
naturally.
is kind of scary for me, and I have to be careful with copyright issues. I was in Tokyo filming, and I got in trouble with some of my footage, and they said it all has to be blurred out, and I was like, I don't want to blur any of this stuff out. So
Yeah.
so for me, it's very difficult doing corporate work and video because I get in trouble and then I have to blur it all out. Which is not good.
Yeah. With video, that's a really sticky part because you have this whole video and you can't really separate each little scene out of the video once you've made it, right? Because it kind of ruins the context and the flow of the video entirely, right? Well, with photography, with just one photo, if somebody says no, I don't like that photo, you can delete it right away. You can get rid of it right away, and you can kind of continue on doing other things.
I see.
Also, you're doing that's very different. You're doing that for more for the art, right? Whereas like you're not trying to use that commercially, right?
Yeah, well, there's multiple reasons. I mean, there's many reasons why I do street photography.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, there's personal reasons why I do street photography, but I honestly I do street photography. Another reason I do it is not it's not for myself really, as you know, I actually feel a sense of obligation when I do street photography because I don't think that Fukuoka, the city that I'm in, that we're in, I don't think that Fukuoka is documented well enough from a historical standpoint about the city itself, the structure, the architecture, but the people especially, the fashion, the time that we're living in, right? So I do street photography for myself, first and foremost, but the real kind of meaning behind that is because I also feel like I'm a documentarian. Like I don't want to sound too
That's a real-
pretentious,
That's
but
a really interesting point. I never thought about that, but yeah, I guess when you see those videos from like 1900 New York, and it's just people on the street walking, and you're like, oh, you're so happy to see that. You're like, wow,
Yeah,
Right.
I'm a
how
huge
people
fan of that
lived
stuff.
before,
Yeah.
right?
Right. I think
I
a lot
see- I
of
see the point.
people, they have a view about street photography in the modern terms, modern way. But when you think about street photography, you have to think that a lot of the material that we consume these days about the past is street photography. New York in the 50s, 40s,
Yeah,
30s,
the most
right?
famous icon images. Yeah.
Just the most famous images you can think of right now. I mean, like the sailor kissing the nurse after World War II in New York. I mean, that's a street photography photo, and I think a lot of people don't really make that connection until it's presented to them in that way. Yeah.
So true.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's a craft that a lot of people are kind of like not scared but a little worried about. Like oftentimes I see people like I'm on a lot of Japanese culture loving like Facebook groups. Like it's a French community, and some people would post a girl in a kimono, for example, and then every fucking time you get someone or several people saying, oh, did you even ask that person if she wanted to be taken picture of? Why do you do that? And I think it comes from a place of ignorance about first of all, the law and the rights that you have taking pictures on the streets, right? So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I want to
Yes.
hear it black and white. What are the laws of taking photos on people and
Yeah.
publishing them? Because I think I've never brushed against this subject before.
Right. So
Yeah.
actually, Japan is one of the most, if not the most, liberal when it comes to street photography.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Very cool.
Yes. Very, very liberal when it comes to the law. And the law is basically that if you're in a public space, you can take a photo of anything and anyone. And even, let's say, for example, you're standing on private property, but that private property is in a public space. Let's say there's one piece of the sidewalk that belongs to a department store, and then next to that is public sidewalk, right? But if you're standing in that private department store kind of sidewalk or pavement or whatever, right, and then you're shooting in that space, that's a public space still. It's visible from the public, right? So even though it's a private business and there's a private spot that you're standing in physically, you're able to see the public space. So it is actually completely legal. And I've had security guards come up to me and say, you can't take photos right here. This is private.
Yeah.
Where we're standing right now, and this is public, and you can walk over there and you can take a photo. And I have to then be careful with my words and not try to make them feel, like actually they don't know the law. because I don't want to start a confrontation and these kind of. I don't want to be high key about what's legal and what's not, and I don't want to draw too much attention to myself, right? Yeah. I'm well intentioned, and so I just kind of, oh, okay, all right, okay, but not try to kind of fight people about things, Yeah. Oh, if somebody says, "Oh, did you take my photo?" and I say, "Oh, yeah," or oh, maybe not. Maybe I was taking a photo of something behind you, and oh, you got into the photo. Oh, I'm sorry, and let me delete it for you. Can I see your photo? Oh, I'm in the photo. Okay, can you delete it, please? Okay, no problem.
How often does it happen? Something like that?
Honestly,
Like once in a blue moon, or is it like
yes,
once a month, like once a year?
It depends how active I am. It depends how what I'm trying to document, trying to cover, what I'm trying to take photos of, right? But if I were to count, I would say just on one hand, how many times I've had somebody be upset, be like
Actually upset, yeah.
bothered,
Visibly upset. Yeah.
but bothered. I wouldn't even say upset, because it never reaches that point with me where somebody is angry with me. Because if somebody comes up to me and then they're curious, like, did he take a photo of me? Am I wrong? And it's just me being, I'm just being like out of my mind. And then they'll talk to me and did you take a photo of me? Oh, yes, I did. Okay, here it is. I like this photo. And also what I do too, to de-escalate this situation, somebody says to me, oh, you took my photo. Oh, yeah, I did take your photo. Look at it. Look, I love this. Wow, look how the lighting was, and it's perfect, and the building. And
Be positive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, oh, I love your fashion. You are so Fukuoka. What people like to hear. You're so Fukuoka. Exactly. You're so
Alex,
Fukuoka.
Alex, what you can do, there's a little trick. I do this with drones, and companies let me fly on their property sometimes because with DJI, you can download the photos. So what I do is I say, look, I'll give you photos and videos after. So I transfer them with AirDrop over to the owner, and he's ecstatic because he's getting all these free images and videos. And they're not edited or anything. They're pretty shitty. But I'm giving them for free, right? And it's just cache copies inside, basically. So same thing with you. You could actually probably Wi-Fi in there, boom, bada bing, give the photo to them and say, hey, here's a couple of free photos here for you. And they're like, oh, thank you so much. So escalating it down, right? Don't make them angry. So,
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So I wanna chime in a little bit here because
raise your hand.
I'm raising my hand. I think my internet connection was getting crappy at the moment I started speaking. So I mean, up until very recently I lived in Dubai, and Dubai is like the opposite of the law that you described just now in Japan.
I have a friend who just came back from Dubai, and he was actually flown out there by a company. He's a street photographer, a famous street photographer friend of mine in Tokyo. He was flown out to Dubai, and his experience was so limiting. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, you've probably heard it from your friend then. But basically in Dubai, the law is so vague that you can get in trouble for any photo you take, basically. Like, you're not allowed to record any sound of anyone speaking in public. You're not allowed to take photos of anyone. And people have asked me, like, oh, you actually live in Dubai? Like, I haven't seen any vlogs or any videos of yours that you're actually in Dubai. And the explanation is as simple as, like, anytime I go out with my camera, there's, like, security guards in every single location that tells me, I can't have that in here. And that's a huge deal. And what bothers me about this is that it's so double-sided, because Dubai is like this Instagrammer's paradise, and everybody has their phones taking photos all the time. For some reason, this doesn't extend to people using their phones and taking stories and showing off their party lifestyle in Dubai. So it's very weird. It seems
very
to be
hypocritical, is what it is.
Hypocritical for sure. I mean, it seems to be very weighed against professionals.
Phones are okay, but cameras are not okay.
Yeah, as soon as you have a DSLR and
I'm a professional.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the law is super vague in that you could get in trouble for basically anything. And once you're in like Middle Eastern courts, your head's off, man. Like there's nobody defending you there.
Yeah.
So it's really scary for me. So that's that's my experience living there, and why I've never really done any proper videos in Dubai, like in public Dubai.
Yeah,
But I would-
actually,
yeah.
on that point, John. So, for example, I'm Cuban American, right?
Cool.
Third generation Cuban American, right? And I have a lot of history in my family back in Cuba that I have never seen before because I've never visited before. And you know, Cuba's laws are changing, and you know, people do street photography in Cuba all the time. It's one of the most famous countries for street photography. You know, Havana.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
of course you want to do it, but my street photography, I am very straightforward, and I get into a headspace sometimes where I am more aggressive. You know, on maybe other people's levels, I'm aggressive. In my opinion, I know some of the street photographers out there, and there's way more aggressive people than me. But anyways, the point is that I want to go and do street photography back in Cuba, for example, but I am a little bit afraid of doing that there because I don't want to be seen as this kind of American spy, I guess.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's really popular for
down.
Canadians. All my Canadian friends are going down to Cuba. They just love
wow.
it. The pictures they come back with are just amazing in Cuba. It's like 1950 in there, man. It's just all old
Oh, I see.
buses and cars, and they've never gotten rid of all the old cars. They're still there. So it's just probably street photography paradise, you know? So
Nice.
relics, lots of relics. So
I'm gonna make a note right now. Go to Cuba.
That's-
I'm gonna have my post-it note in frame so you know that I'm actually writing it down.
oh, wow. Is he actually writing it? Oh, my God. He's going to Cuba after COVID. That's it.
After COVID. Dang.
Actually,
Yeah.
my first place I want to go to, I want to go to Mexico right away. I'm dying to go down there and do some fishing and just chill down there and take videos and stuff. So
oh, hey, guys, I got a friend of mine, Tom Cormans, in the
Oh,
chat here.
hello.
Good guy. He does podcasts as well, actually, and videos too as well.
what did he say?
Good guy.
Pop is comment up.
Oh, let's give him a little shout out there.
I just.
Tom. There he
It's
is.
just a
Tom.
clap.
Oh, it's just
It's a clap. Hey, clappy clap, clap, clap.
I
Welcome,
saw a
Tom.
clap. Yeah.
Nice.
Well,
nice.
so since we started talking about traveling globally, I guess I have a question that sort of naturally springs from that. Is Alex, when you travel, do you pay attention to local law a lot, or do you just go out there? Do you have the mindset of better ask for forgiveness than permission, or do you just, or do you like get the books and read up on the laws?
So a little, you know, a bit of both, right? I went to Korea year and a half ago, and Korea is a bit more strict, definitely. So I didn't try. I definitely wasn't as straightforward and aggressive. Never mind. I kind of was, but I'm not gonna lie. But I didn't take photos, like, for example, around like in like the train station and like the subway. You can't really do it there, but in Japan you can. So I knew about that law. And then, just overall, like, I don't know if you can take photos of police. I think you might be able to take photos of
yeah, you
police.
gotta be careful that one. I'm sure.
You got to be very careful.
Especially North Korea.
military.
Especially North Korea.
Yeah, military. I took a photo of this this kind of army or Marines, a Korean military person walking through the streets, like in his full uniform, with like his girlfriend or something. And they were shopping or something like that. And I just thought that, I mean, his uniform is awesome, right? And I took a photo, and then I realized later, like, oh my God, like I probably shouldn't have done that. I have no idea about that. So I deleted it.
In a nutshell, you're not really able to commercially sell these images, right? Because you don't have model release forms and whatnot. So as a street photographer, you're kind of a rogue shooter. You can't do anything with these photos. Like, you can Instagram them, but that's about it, really. Would that be a
There-
fair assessment?
That's a great question.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is a legal gray area
Right.
when it comes to this, and Japan really keeps it that way on purpose, I think. Because there's TV stations that they go out and they shoot the environment, or there's photographers that they're out and they shoot the environment. And there's a lot of corporations that are involved and then private entities that are involved, and then they don't want to be too restricted, and they want to be able to sell their materials, right? And they can't
Yeah.
blur out everybody's faces. It's gonna work. It's gonna ruin the marketing. It's gonna ruin
Yeah.
the TV show. It's gonna ruin everything, right? If you have to be so
Yeah.
conscious about all that kind of stuff. So there is a gray area. And bottom line, I guess, if you're big enough, you don't get in trouble. But if you're a small guy like me,
Yeah.
then I gotta watch how rapid my photos are commercialized or not. So, for example, I will make a book of mine. I will make a street photography book. I want something physical, and I want to be able to smell it. It's not smell it. I want to be able to. I want to smell it too.
Yeah.
I want to smell.
I want to be
now.
able
Doesn't
to.
love. Who doesn't love smelling books?
I'll do,
I'd
I do it all the
actually-
time.
I'd love to sell it, you know? I'd love to be able to sell it, but I'm going to sell it in like small batches, and it's not going to be like I'm going to look for a publisher right away and, go for the big box or something.
You won't be on
You
Amazon
could
Prime.
even do like a print on demand thing. I think there are services that do that for books. So like
Exactly.
anybody
Exactly,
who orders
exactly.
it, they'll have a printed copy for them.
Right. But let's say I get a sponsorship and I'm sponsored by Fujifilm or Leica or something like that. And I have tons of photos and they fit this context or this story or some kind of theme that I have for my book. But I'm also sponsored and I have these kind of backings by a large corporation like that. Well, then I guess I could get away with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I
it is
noticed
a
on
gray
the-
area.
I noticed on the stock footage sites, if you search Tokyo, like story blocks, and you put Tokyo in, you'll actually see the streets of Shinjuku busy with people going forward and back in slow motion. And I always think to myself, how did that guy get permission to take a video of 1,000 people doing a crosswalk, video? So it is kind of a gray area, right? Like it's the
No,
public
so-
area, right?
The thing is, I'm going to talk about France. I know the laws of France well on that side. I think it's more or less the same everywhere, but with minor differences. But when you're showing that kind of stuff, like dozens of people and nobody in particular is the subject, you're fine. You would be fine.
Oh, okay.
If you're not
Right.
like actually focusing on one person.
Yeah.
Also, the thing about the news channels is there might be like some wager for like just reporting
Yeah.
something that's not commercial or that's not trying to put some narrative on top of it. If it's just
I see.
just a report,
Yeah.
that might be okay.
So it's the context
I
of
think
how it's
that-
being
That's,
used.
yeah, the
Yeah.
context also the use,
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it's
So that
very
would be in the
difficult.
realm of
That's-
like defaming somebody, and that doesn't
that
doesn't
too,
relate
obviously, yeah.
specifically to photography. It's anything
Yeah.
that you publish on anyone. So it could be a written opinion piece, I guess.
There's a story actually where Japanese TV crew showed a Japanese guy with a girl, and he was having an affair. And so when it went live, it was actually him having an affair, and his wife saw it, and then she found out that his husband was cheating on her through the TV show, and so she sued the TV show based on the fact that they were showing her husband, doing this. And so that's why it all sort of came about in Japan, where you don't want to show people in public and stuff, because you could be showing a guy who's having a marital affair, an affair basically.
Oh, that's-
So yeah, I heard it happen in Japan. So, yeah, Alex, you're okay. You just don't take pictures of guys with girlfriends and stuff.
I'm definitely careful when I'm in like Nakasu or Shinjuku
Yeah.
about
yeah.
the kind of people I'm taking a photo of course.
Just stop there for a second. If you guys don't know what that is, Nakasu and those areas is the brothel area. And when
Yeah,
when
red
the
light.
Japanese businessmen go in there, this is really interesting. They actually put their shoes at the front of the door, and you'll see the brothels full of like 50 pairs of shoes, like just sitting at the front, and they organize them all beautifully. And all the men are going in there for a health checkup, it's called, right? So Alex is basically saying he doesn't go into those areas taking photos of that particular area because
Yeah, you
it's
can get
owned
into
by the
trouble.
Yakuza and the Japanese
yeah.
mafia and gangs. So you do have to be really careful, obviously being in those type of areas. So
I also just want to
When
be
you-
clear for
yeah.
anybody who doesn't know, when you say brothel, it's not the international version of a brothel.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
not going in there to actually have intercourse, if that's what you're saying. They're going in there to spend quality time with female company, and it starts innocent, but then there are like paid tiers where like if you are a big shot and you spend a lot of money, they might go on a date with you, something like that.
Yeah.
But it's-
how do you
it
know
does
this? How do you know
very,
this?
very knowledgeable.
Yeah, well,
Both of
hey, I know a lot of pretty girls.
Hey,
So-
let's
so-
change it up. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No. So
Changes.
I'm just want to say that in Japan, these things they seem like they're everywhere, but that's because they're more like fancy bars where you pay extra
Yeah,
for
yeah,
female
that's true.
company. They're
Yeah.
not places of sexual activity. So
Okay. Yeah, you're talking snack
Yeah,
bars.
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff,
most of
right?
them.
So, the snack bars. Cool. We got a question just came
Vast
in.
majority of them.
Let's head over here. I feel like it's easier to add photography to your business as a videographer than vice versa. Thoughts? I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if this has been mentioned yet. So, what do you guys think on
Yeah,
that
we
one? You know?
we didn't go into that yet. Yeah, we have to
Okay,
go
well, we
on
can
that.
put that on the
that's what I
burner.
want to get
Yeah.
into. Yeah.
Yeah.
We might
true,
just
true.
But one
segue
thing-
into it now.
Before we segue into this, I think we need to ask a question. And I saw the question is just give me a minute. Whoa, where is it? Sorry. It said, "Who is Alex?" What is Alex on the streets? I think we should
Yeah.
first drive
I-
into
I
who
wanted
is
to-
this Alex guy first. Yeah.
I wrote this up because I want to give you the opportunity to really sell this brand.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
show
thank
us,
you. Yeah.
show us the goods, Nigel.
Yeah, I'm setting it up right now. You guys keep chatting away, and I'll be doing a little slideshow
Okay.
in a minute. Well, you go ahead, Alex. You explain just quick concept, who you are, why they should follow you, and go from there. And I'm going to bring it in. So go ahead, Alex. It's all yours.
Oh, right. So I am Alex. I am from California, USA, Southern California. And I got into photography initially through wanting to take photos of my car, in California. There's a
Okay.
big car culture in California, of course. And so originally I was kind of like a car photographer, And so, I had a camera, my first camera, because I wanted to take photos of cars in my car and things like that. But my wife, I married a Japanese girl, and then we had always talked about moving to Japan when we're going to settle down and have a child, and we have. And so I came to Japan, of course, with my camera. And initially I started shooting photos of cars and things like that, but to be honest, I went in, yeah, there we go. There's some cars. I got into street photography because I wanted to preserve the memories of where I was living here in this city. And I come at it very well-intentioned. I hope that people see me as very well-intentioned about the photos that I'm taking. Some people might have different opinions about, why did you take a photo of this person here? You can look at any of my photos, and I will give you a good reason to why I took that photo, the context behind it. I have purpose. I have reason of why I'm taking my photos. For artistic purposes, but also primarily for documenting the city in a historical perspective. I love history. History was my favorite subject in school. And I love to see how a city changes. I love to see how fashion changes. I love this. And one of my favorite movies, hold on, let me get this, hold on.
By the way, yeah, this is great. Sorry, just to jump in, here we had the Fukuoka,
yeah.
what was this? The BLM,
the
right? And,
BLM, Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
I was
great.
there too.
He was documenting
I
this.
was
This
with,
is awesome,
with
right?
Alex.
So
Yeah, this is really important for me to document. This is a protest in Fukuoka. It's very timely. It's very historical. That I felt obligated to do that.
Yeah.
And even regardless, it was during just after like the lockdown, I think, and everybody's really high tension about coronavirus still, and a lot of people angry that there was a Black Lives Matter protest in Fukuoka, and seeing it as really irresponsible. And I can see that, but it wasn't my job to be there as a supporter or an anti this or that. I was there primarily to document the day and the situation, and that was it. And of course, I don't like people being killed, on the street. So I'm definitely going to be there in that sense as well. But
I love that picture. I love that one.
oh yeah, I got up so early for that.
That's
I had
a
to
great
drive
pick,
so
man.
far.
That's a great
Oh my
pick.
god. But anyways, so my favorite movie is Back to the Future, and I have
saw
my
the
little
car
DeLorean here.
By the way,
Yeah.
I actually went to the same high school as Michael J. Fox and had the same drama teacher as Michael J. Fox. And he's from Burnaby, where I'm from. And it's very common to see Michael J. Fox in Vancouver. So that's funny.
That's
said that.
awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
great guy. Super, super nice guy, man.
Yeah.
Well,
So
so,
and
so
then
you brought up
yeah.
your favorite movie. What's the context?
So I really I have two stories actually. So also I lived in Japan previously. This isn't my first time living in Japan. I lived in Japan previously when my father was in the Navy, and I lived in Sasebo, Nagasaki.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was there, I lived there. I worked there. Not in the military. I was just working on the base and everything. I had a normal job, but I was in college and everything. But back then, cameras and smartphones, like they weren't really that great or fun or interesting to me. So I didn't take photos. I didn't capture the environment. I didn't preserve the memories that I had for 2 years. For over 2 years, I was there in Sasebo, Nagasaki, and I didn't take enough photos. And so when I went back to California, and I missed Japan so much, and I regretted so much, so often I didn't take enough photos, and I didn't take enough. So now that I'm living here, it's kind of like my revenge on
Revenge on Sasebo.
yeah, on Japan, and it's just like this time I'm gonna do it right, and I'm gonna save as much as I can for me and for others.
Cool. So that is Alex on the Streets, and we saw lots of your photos as we were scrolling through. And
Yeah, well done.
I think it's really cool how some of the people actually look at the camera and they actually pose. I think that's really neat. They're not afraid to, hey, I'm gonna take a quick picture of you. Oh yeah, sure, go for it. So
Yeah,
obviously you know what
I had
you're
that
doing.
experience in.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna say I had that experience in China. I was there right before COVID went global. I know, crazy. I was there for Chinese New Year, and so I was walking around with my camera in Guangzhou, and almost everyone there, they posed for the camera, and it was so
so
surprising
cool.
to me.
That's
I
so
thought it was so great. So I have a video where I review a lens, Kamlan 50mm, and I just had so many
Kamlan.
shots. Yeah, I had so many shots where I'm just like filming people in China, and they're just like posing for it, and I'm like, oh, that's
cool.
great.
That's cool. That's
And
cool.
like this one lady, she's like, "Oh, look, camera!" And she took her little girl, and she's like, "Look, ah!"
That's cool.
So, at
Very
least in
different
that
from
one
America.
city,
Yeah, very
yeah,
different
for
from
sure.
America.
And at least that one city in China, I mean, they were thrilled. They were thrilled
That's
to
so
just
cool.
be cool in a photo. And I got that a little bit in Japan, but I've never been much into photography in general. So, yeah. So I bet you get that a lot when you're in Japan.
Yeah, Tom just put a comment, a peace sign, Alex's favorite
yeah,
pose, because
The peace sign of death.
this yeah,
Everybody's.
Yeah.
because people do love. It depends where you are, location, depends the time of the day, the weather, things like that. But people do love getting their photo taken, and I also I enjoy making people feel positive, feel good about themselves. That like this guy chose to take a photo of me. That makes me feel great. And so many people walk away from me interacting with them with so much of a better day. I know this for a fact because I get messages later, and I can I see the photo, and oh yeah, oh thank you so much, and wow, and can you do it again for me, and I'm gonna let you know when I'm out next time, and this and that, and like I get so many good positive experiences. So people love getting their photo taken here. So much that everyone wants to throw the peace sign up, and that annoys me sometimes.
Yeah, I hate the whole. My kids are not allowed to do peace. I hit my kids on the head. Don't do that shit around me. It has to be the thumbs up, baby. So, sort of to grow your business and who you are and your persona of what you do. Do you get them to jump over to your Instagram so you're growing your following at the same time? It's like, hey, I'll if you give me permission or if you don't mind, I'll upload that photo of you, and then you can tag me and you can share it. And every time, you're getting more people. So your Instagram must be really busy because you're just getting new content every day, and right? So
Yeah, exactly. Just as you said. I mean, there's plenty of people that follow me internationally, but there's plenty of people that follow me here within the city, within the country. And it's through all these small interactions that I'm able to grow in that way too as well. And and not everybody knows that I do YouTube as well. And and I try to keep that kind of lower key, because there is this gray area with street photography, right? And there's plenty of street photographers on YouTube these days. But so I always just try to tell people, look, I'm well intentioned. This is what I'm doing. This is why I'm doing it. And then I think 10 times out of 10, people understand. I've never had anyone just be like, I don't understand. I don't agree. Nobody ever, zero people have ever like just flat out told me I'm not doing something I'm supposed to be doing.
That's cool.
I think a lot of people have this visceral imagination of like being rejected when you take a photo in the streets. Like the guy will just walk up to you and slap the camera out of your hands and just like put the finger in your face and like,
Right.
But that doesn't ever happen. That's like a movie thing.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I've had
people's
to
imaginations.
There's two times.
Oh, Nigel, you cut off right here.
Nigel, you muted yourself.
Yo, Nigel, what's happening with Nigel?
Did he hit a plug? Nigel, we can't hear you.
Nigel, we can't hear you.
He's going off.
Stop talking, Nigel. We can't hear you.
Oh, he's reconnecting. But I think on that point, yeah, like it also depends on the location where you're at. Like I'm not gonna go back home to LA and go to like Skid Row or Compton, or like I'm not gonna go to a dangerous area and do street photography. So I'm not from that area. I don't know anybody there, right? I might be like well intentioned, like, hey, I really want to preserve the memory of this ghetto. Like, no, F off, right? Like, you're not from here. I don't know you, right?
Yeah,
So I think people's imaginations get a little bit wild when they think about, if should I go out and do street photography? Oh, somebody's gonna break my camera. Somebody's gonna take my camera and they're gonna throw it on the street and they're gonna break it. And just one step at a time. Go out and just kind of warm up. Hold your camera. You don't even have to like take any pictures. Just get used to the concept of you having a camera out on the street. Take a picture of a building or something like that. You build up your threshold, right? And then eventually you do what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
Oh, man, you're almost making me want to go in.
Yeah. I've been
You
following
should.
Alex.
You should. Why not?
We've done that.
I will.
Yeah. Alex has been trying to train me to do that too, and
yeah.
I'm not as close to people as he gets, but it's doable. Yeah, you can overcome your shyness, I guess. I still prefer, I think, asking people, like going, and when I see someone I really like their style, their fashion or whatever, I'm just gonna go to them and ask them if they want me to take a picture of them. And and the you get rejected like maybe half the time, but that's totally fine. Like
it's okay.
Do anything, right? It's like
because then
no
you
problem.
learned why you got rejected. It's like, okay, is this location a good spot? Maybe it's not a good spot. Maybe I should go to a more friendly spot. where
Well,
people will say
yeah,
yes,
there's
right?
there's a lot about like, is it a place where people are just like walking their way and going somewhere, or are they
Exactly.
just walking around and shopping, for example, where they might have
Right.
more time, right? Yeah,
Mhm.
totally. Um, should we go about the business side of things now?
Yeah, let's touch upon that.
Maybe
Hopefully Nigel
let's
is coming back soon.
yeah
I guess he'll add himself to the stream when he's ready.
yeah
Yeah, so one angle that I really enjoy is how to link this to videography. Because, I mean, I'm in the midst of selling myself as a videographer in Iceland, and I've been having some success. And one thing that I've done is I've added photography as a bonus to my package of deliverables. So I'm not specifically a photography person, but I have the tools and I have the basic understanding that I can make fairly good portrait shots. And William has coached me a lot on this as well. And so, for example, on Monday I went to shoot these old rock band guys that, you know, they used to play back in the 80s, and now they're old dudes and they want to get back into it, you know, and they had this music video lined up. It was super fun. And I sold them on the idea of like delivering a music video and then having all the portrait headshots done like professionally. And when I delivered the photos, they're just like, wow, I've never seen myself look so like, you know, professional. Like this is a LinkedIn photo basically.
that works.
So that was a simple way for me to add like a ton of value. And so I thought of this angle for this week's episode because it's very relevant to me at this moment. Like how to use videography to make your photography business better, or vice versa, how to use photography to make your videography better. So anybody have something to shoot off on that thought?
I think for you, so we're basically the opposite. You come from more like video and vlogging first, and then you got better at making videos and better at making nice images. But you never learned like from the ground up like how to make a good picture or right. You learn like the other way around. And
photography for me is still a foreign concept.
So I think it's good to practice to do that when you're a videographer. That's the title of the video. How can it help? I think practicing photography can help you be more mindful and more have more purpose when you're framing your shots, when you're using light also, because when you're taking a picture, you don't have the subject moving, it's less interesting. So you have to make the picture interesting via the composition, via the light, and the tones and the colors and everything, and the emotion that you convey, like taking the picture at the right moment. And all of these, once you've mastered that on stills, you can apply that to your video, I think, and make your video even 10 times better. I think that's what I would say, yeah. Because now you're noticing all these new things that wasn't so important for video.
Yeah, on that thought, I mean, so I've noticed that people use gimbals and a lot, like to make the video more fascinating and moving and like, wow, you know. But a lot of the videos that I prefer and still like enjoy aesthetically more are the ones that are just locked off on a tripod. So when I started out, I was completely caught up in this like vlogging, like go fast and have like this very like a lot of motion
Daniel
in your
Schiffer,
video.
Daniel Schiffer.
Go.
Yeah.
But now
That's a
I've
super good
reeled
point.
that back completely, and I feel that it's almost like a crutch to like you don't have to learn composition. It's like just throw this instead and then you're good to go.
Yeah,
But
that's a very good point.
Yeah,
did
I
that
enjoy the
for-
well-compositioned shots way more.
I did
Yeah.
21 days of tourism videos, right? So with an easy rig and a handheld camera, GH5S, no stabilization, nothing. And I had to walk around breweries, sakes, and waterfalls, and all these places they took me to. And 80% of the time, I just handheld it, and I just like, oh, there's a waterfall, there's a tree. Okay, let me get behind this tree, and just sit there and just get the tree and then this waterfall. Okay, that's a great shot. I love it. And I'm not even moving. I'm just like, that's a great shot. It's not about the action. Let the action do its thing. but just get this shot that's
exactly.
just epic. It just looks amazing. And then we sat there for 1 minute, and all of a sudden the leaves started to fall down, and I was like, that's it, now's the time. And then we're filming it, and the leaves are just like falling, and all I did is I just held my camera, but I chose the right spot to put it in, and I wasn't moving. I just handheld it, and it was the magical shot. So for me, I turned into just a, frame it right, get it right,
Right.
but don't move the shots anymore. Keep it simple, man.
Yeah, in street photography, we call that the camping method.
Okay, I like it. I like
Yeah.
camping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
camping
in video
method.
games, right?
Right,
You're
like a
camping
first-person
and you're
shooter.
waiting for your shot.
Right. And I always say to John too, hold the shot. If you can, film something for 30 seconds of a barista pouring coffee. Don't
Exactly.
try to film for 10 seconds. Try to film it for a minute and a half.
hold the
A
shot.
4K, hold the shot.
Exactly.
All right, and you'll get a shot. Eventually,
Yeah.
the steam will pour up, and all of a sudden the water goes everywhere. That's the shot I need. But for a minute and a half, I'm just holding it, and I'm like, come on, do something. So, but I'm not moving. I'm not gimbaling. I'm not rotating 360, spinning. Oh my God, this epic shot and stuff. I'm just keeping it, simple. Camping it out. I'm camping. I'm a
Yeah.
camper. So.
A little bit of
that's-
Bresson is.
I just want to
grandfather.
acknowledge a comment from one of my buddies, Krister. He seems to relate with what I said. He did video first and then photography second. But he recognizes how much they overlap, and definitely we're talking about composition now. I think William really nailed it when he said that this photography teaches you how to compose your shots way better, and so. That was what I was lacking when I jumped into videography. So I'm very happy to
Overlapping.
sort of,
So now that your composition and your lighting are better, you
Yeah.
realize that you don't need to move the camera around, and you don't need to use transitions. You can just have simple shots, cut, shot, cut,
Exactly,
and that's
yeah.
it. And the video is beautiful
transitions.
anyway, right?
I'm a very vocal advocate of having just regular cuts 99% of the time now,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
do it
yeah.
religiously for
Totally.
almost all my videos. I don't do any sort of whooshes anymore because it's so crazy compared to how I was when I started out. But I just sort of started watching these old Hollywood movies and realized that they're so powerful, and they
Yeah.
just do regular cuts, and if it's good enough for Hollywood, it's good enough for you. So yeah.
Yeah.
The only movie I know with transitions is Star Wars. the wipe
the
transition.
wipes. Yeah, I would say one director that does it really well is Edgar Wright. He has transitions for pretty much every shot, and it works for him because they're very intentional and it's like match cutting stuff.
Well made.
Yeah.
Very well made. Yeah, like he put a lot of
very
thought and
crafted.
effort into them. Very crafted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
especially,
it's
funny,
not like
especially if you
random.
look at especially if you look at Scott Pilgrim or
Yeah.
Oh,
No, every movie that he does is similar to
every
Scott
movie,
Pilgrim.
yeah, it's
But
true.
Scott Pilgrim, because of the comic book origin, I guess you're right. Yeah, they really pushed it beyond.
like to 11.
Alex has got some comments. His Instagram must be going off the hook. He's on LeFilmNation. He's on LeFilmNation.
Guys,
It's fun-
on that point, let me show you. Can you guys see this?
Yeah, your autofocus
Yeah.
kicked in.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
There we go.
Yeah, I
so
know that
so
scene.
that's a scene from The Shining, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
the most
the
And that
famous
is
icon.
that's just one, static shot, right? No movement, except for the subjects coming to the scene, right? And that is just like so powerful. How if you just have that right framing, right? Exactly
The
how you're talking about.
There's a lot of symmetrical framing in The Shining.
Yeah,
It's
such
all
amazing
symmetrical.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
the
It's funny.
point.
I just had actually someone show me a video from where was it? Shimanami. It's a local area, and my video is being submitted, and then they had a previous YouTube channel of all the videos, and it was from 2 years ago, and everything was hyper warped. You know, when you go up to the shrine and it's all hyperlapsing, and it's like, here's the shrine, here's the coffee shop, and it's 90% hyperlapse, and I get a headache watching that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, I don't even remember what I saw because it's just so fast. But even our city here in Fukuoka, we had a hyperlapse video, right? And it was really popular. But it's kind of died out. That whole hyperlapse thing
It's a fad.
It's
It was a fad.
Yeah. So again,
That was a
just
cool
great
video. I
shots.
think I saw that. It was cool.
Yeah,
But,
yeah. The Fukuoka, but
Fukuoka
after
one's
3
good,
minutes,
yeah.
you're like, ah.
I
The
feel
way
like I
I
had
feel
12
about these
cups of coffee.
videos,
Yeah.
they tend to
Yeah.
be made for other editors just to show off.
Oh,
But
Exactly. It's like a
anytime I
technical
show it
thing.
to like my parents or something,
Yeah,
they'd be like, just, oh, shut it off. What are you even,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I don't
Stop.
think they really reach the
Exactly.
general audience as much.
I see. Yeah. So again,
sure.
just great shots. You know, being a photographer, videographer would be good enough, I think. So.
Well, I think
Tell your story.
to sort of put a nice little bow on this topic, Matt added here that he does the transition. Edgar Wright uses transitions to move the story along, and add energy that is needed. And I think that sort of summarizes what we're getting at, is that if the transitions add to the story, and the story is always what's important, then they're fine. But if they're there for the sake of being cool and like for whatever reason, then it's best to cut it.
Yeah.
So always push the story first. The story is actually what you're conveying. You're not conveying your skills as an editor. Nobody cares.
For
Right.
those who don't know who Edgar Wright is, I actually had to do a search on him just to, you know, sort of get a frame of who he was.
So many movies, man.
Shaun of the Dead, Scott
Yeah.
Pilgrim,
Scott Pilgrim.
Ant-Man.
Baby Driver.
Wow, Ant-Man. Okay.
Really?
One of my
You did
Yeah,
Ant-Man?
I
Wow.
did-
no,
you
no,
did
no,
Ant-Man?
no. That's he was credited as a
Oh, okay.
producer, I think, and he was supposed to do Ant-Man,
Oh, okay.
but
And-
he didn't.
One of my favorite all-time movies, Tintin. I love Tintin the movie. I love that.
Mm.
So, in case you guys never saw that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Edgar Wright.
Edgar Wright is
And
one of the
and
greats.
Baby Driver. Baby Driver is amazing. Like
Yeah, it's
the
insane.
way he edits on the music, it's just damn. It's
My
so
most
good.
popular
Baby
YouTube video
Driver.
is where I talk about Baby Driver, and I just mention a simple little thing that he does, and that video just gets thousands of views every month. It's
I
crazy.
like that video. I like that video a lot.
It's
I think
so short.
I really like that series that you made. It was way back. You should do more. You should do more.
well,
That's-
thank
I'll
you.
just,
Yeah,
just,
no, it
just,
was-
just so some of those who maybe can't see, I'll just do a quick little share there. So for those who are kind of wanting to see Edgar
Yep.
Wright, and then
That's
you
the
can
man.
see, you can see some of his movies, and then
Well, then it's
So-
kind of like a counter example to our to our argument of not using transitions, but
Yeah.
Well, no, because he still puts composition first and story first.
yeah, for
So
sure.
I think
for sure.
while he's not a counter argument necessarily,
But
it's the
that's
emphasis that
probably
we're trying
what,
to
yeah.
get to.
Yeah, but probably
Yeah.
not someone that you should take as an example of what you should do yourself if you're a beginner, because
I think you
I
should
would
learn
say,
from
yeah.
everyone, man. You should learn all
Right.
styles.
Yeah,
in life.
but
yeah.
like you should try to learn to walk before you run. Like it's like
I would say
This-
say the
this is
movies that
pretty
had the
crazy.
most effect on me, like watching the old cowboy western movies. They're still so exciting
yeah.
for me, but
Yeah.
they hold the shots for like crazy long. Like
yeah,
if you guys have watched
and you build tension.
The Good, the Bad, the Ugly anytime recently, I mean,
that's one of my.
there are
favorite
shots where they just
movies.
hold it for a minute, and still you're engaged in it.
Yeah,
So those movies teach you so much about how story can grip you, and I still regard them very highly.
For
So
sure.
I don't think there's a single camera movie. There might be some pans, but there's no real dolly or anything like that.
Wow.
They got a whole bunch of good comments coming in here. We got. Did you guys show this one? Perrin Vlogs.
Oh,
Just
Paran.
turned-
Just popped in.
Paran
Perrin.
is a
Good to see you,
friend
man.
Welcome.
Of me and Alex.
That's right.
I met him before. Yeah, he's a photographer. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've seen him at your studio before. And then he followed up with the speaking of transitions. I remember the movie night we had at Williams and watched
Yeah.
Hot Fuzz XD.
Yeah, Hot
Miss
Fuzz.
y'all and keep up the dope work. Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hot Fuzz is pretty great.
Cool. So we're moving along. We're coming up to the 1 hour mark. We've certainly learned a lot about Alex, and we are learning about, techniques in street photography and, some of the do's and the don'ts and, some of the secret methods on how to do it. My mic crashed, but I'm back again, and we're talking about Edgar Wright now. And what's next, boys? What are we going to move on to? What's the next topic here? So
What do we have? Oh yeah, we should talk about your YouTube strategy. So
okay.
So Alex, you told me recently. So
Yes.
you have a pretty good growing channel. It's been growing, especially since the last 6 months or a year,
Yeah.
about a year.
Can I get a name
Yeah.
for it, please?
And,
Is there a name for
Alex
the-
on Streets.
It's
Thank you.
yeah. So you're right now at 7,000,
Yeah. Oh,
and
damn.
that's pretty good. And
yeah.
so
my
you
my
have
goal
a
for
new-
2021 is 15K.
Wow,
Okay, cool.
nice.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's my goal for this year.
So you recently bought new cameras and sold old cameras, and you have a new
What's new,
approach
really?
also to your upload schedule. So can you talk a little bit about your niche and your
Right.
approach also to being regular on YouTube?
Yeah. Okay. So you have my YouTube channel up right there.
Mm.
Okay. So take a look at my view count, right?
Yeah.
You can see
Yeah, it's true.
I got like 3.5K, 1 point
Yeah, pretty
here,
solid.
five-
Yeah, those are solid
5.2.
numbers. Yeah.
But those are really low numbers compared to if you look at you see the one where I got the camera I'm holding out in front of me, the black one right there.
Yeah, that's
And then
130.
see that's my most successful video.
130.
130K, right?
The magic.
Oh,
Oh,
lens
that's the one I
was-
shot.
This is the one I did with Will.
Yeah.
It blew up. I still
Wow.
get messages for that video to this day. I still get messages.
I liked it.
Oh, thank you.
I'll have to check it out.
Daily. Daily, I get messages for this video, about this video. I'm not
310,
kidding.
baby.
Nice.
310.
And yeah, it was a banger. I loved that video. It was fantastic. And it's really difficult. You can try and you can try, but it's really difficult to kind of strike that magic, I think, in a video where just everything just comes together. Where just the weather was nice and the people that were in it were great, and the music I selected and the transition and the content and everything was really worked out for that video. And it grew me a lot. I think for this one video, I grew easily, most of my subscriber base, 5-6K, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
And it pushed me well beyond into monetization and all this kind of stuff. It's really difficult to kind of just like petting my camera
It's like,
there.
oh, the camera.
Yeah.
I like the there's a lot of fun stuff in your videos, a lot of memes and a lot of
Yeah.
cringe comedy.
Right. That's my style.
That's true.
Yeah,
Pre-COVID
I
here.
get
This
into
is
the
pre-COVID
cringe.
now.
I
Pre-COVID.
don't like when people say that I'm cool, or that if I don't want to call myself like cool, like to me that'd be like an insult.
Oh, commercials.
Like, but sorry
Making
guys.
money. Hey, you're making money
bad.
right now, dude. You're making money right now.
I want to do cool things, but I don't want people to say that I'm cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I want to focus on the context, and I don't want things to be about me. I want to be able to help people with their gas syndromes, and I want to
syndromes.
yeah, I want to help people kind of deal with the kind of rationalization for having to wanting to buy some gear or whatever and stuff like that. But at the same time, I don't want it to be all about the gear. I want it to be about the city. I want it to be about the people. I want it to be about street photography in general, because that is, of course, what's usually missing from most reviews about gear, right?
For sure.
And I want to kind of trick people. Is what I want to do. I want to kind of trick people, say, oh, it's a gear review. Okay, but you click on it, and then you, after about 5 minutes, when usually people's audience like drop off, I want people to be able to stay there and keep watching because they're enjoying the street photography, because they're enjoying this new location and things like that. So, and oftentimes my reviews aren't like the best reviews of the gear. Like it's not like
technically, right?
Yeah.
I'm not doing like a solid like review, like I'm making a street photography video.
Yeah.
I'm romanticizing that if you had this lens or this body or this camera, whatever, you could do this. You know what I mean? I'm trying to romanticize it here. That's what I'm.
The only thing is, when I look at your channel, this is just some advice for those. And I'll just do another screenshot again. It's really easy. It's super fast advice. Just there's not much for me to go in here, so all I have is the home video button here, this one here, and then I have uploads. Make a playlist.
Page, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make
Yeah.
a playlist called
Yeah.
Street Photography Tips. And it doesn't have to be your own, Alex. It could be anyone's. So it could be like your friends, and then you have street photography tips, maybe Fujifilm lenses that you use, and then you say like my gear, and then you could link other
Right.
videos inside here to make it look a little more like street photography. But it could be like your friends' videos populating this channel, or you could
Yes, yes,
organize
yes.
all your videos. But just, I feel like it's a little bit. It needs a little more than just this only. So
Sure,
like
sure,
for
sure.
example,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm
LeFilmNation.
honestly
I wanna-
very.
I want to add to
Yeah.
what Nigel said as well. Playlists help view counts as well. So
Yeah.
when you recommend playlists
Yeah.
rather than videos, then people might
Yeah.
watch
Yeah.
the playlists.
My problem is I have the playlists in the playlist tab, but I don't have them on the home. I can put them on the home. I didn't even know that.
Just create
Yeah, you
unique.
should
So
do
here
that.
we
Yeah,
go.
you
Look at
can
this
do
one.
that.
Here's a playlist.
I have like reviews playlists and I have like
Oh, so, yeah, he also
vlogs
do that.
They
playlist.
have them.
Yeah, so you just need to
Awesome.
edit your home. So here I have
Okay.
Stellar J Films, I have
perfect.
John Bear, I've got Accent Fukuoka, I've got
Yeah.
featured channels, and then I've got highlights, I've got podcasts,
Yeah,
past
yeah.
live streams, blah blah blah. I have
Okay,
maxed this
okay.
out. See what I've done?
I gotta,
Right?
yeah, I gotta refresh that. I gotta do
Okay.
better on that.
Yeah, just
absolutely.
make it look a little more jazzy, and people
Yeah.
might feel a little more like, wow, this guy's pretty official. Wow, this guy's pretty dope.
Sure,
So
sure,
it just
sure.
gives a little more oomph, a little more
Yeah.
oomph. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't like editing videos and I don't like I am a photographer first naturally and I'm a
Okay.
videographer second and like a
Yeah.
YouTuber like third and fourth or ninth. And it's like I get so impatient with editing videos and things like this and it's something that I'm learning. I'm trying to get better at. I'm trying to find ways to make it fun for me and this and
Yeah.
that. But at the end of the day, I'm not as passionate about like just making editing the videos as I am about just purely shooting, just going out and shooting.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
I
Me
wish
too.
I could just hire somebody to just edit all my videos when I get big enough. I swear, I'm just
Yeah,
gonna be like,
definitely you will.
here's what I shot. Just go and edit it for me. This is how I want it, and just go at it and find somebody who like gets me, who understands me, who can do all that stuff for me in the future.
I'm doing an instruction mountaineer video right now. And 8 hours on editing today of doing the intro script voiceover. We're doing the
Yeah.
voiceovers for everything else, and man, it takes so much work to get these videos out. It's just insane. I love you photographers. Oh, I just have to put a couple LUTs on and a couple color adjustments. I'm done for the day. I'm like dealing with scripts in English and translating and stuff. It's so much.
Yeah, in
work.
photography, you could edit like 200 photos in 3 hours. You know,
I'm gonna
like,
batch it. I'm just gonna batch it.
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
just batch edit.
Just batch 200 photos.
or not edit at all. You
Yeah.
you have a film
Just
profile
straight
or
off.
like a color profile. You shoot JPEG even, and you say I don't want to edit. I'll shoot JPEG. I'll shoot my own
Bastard. You
color
bastard.
profile. Get home, pop those JPEGs in, upload, boom. You know what I mean? I like that too. But usually I edit raw, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't like to overly edit my photos, and you have to be careful because there's a very thin line between editing your photo to make yourself and your editing skills look cool versus the context of the photo, and you don't want to take away from that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I was hanging out with a tour guide yesterday. He came over to show off his new Canon camera. He just bought the 5D Mark IV and a very pricey lens. And anyway, so we were looking at that, and he was telling stories about how every time he does a Northern Lights tour in Iceland, he has to start the tour with a disclaimer that Northern Lights don't look like that in real life, because people watch these photos they're shot with long exposure, and like for example. My girlfriend, she posted one of those photos recently on her Instagram where we're inside like this bubble hotel and the aurora is just insane. But that was like a really long exposure shot with like saturations
Okay.
cranked to the maximum. It's like, it's really not that amazing. Like it's amazing in real life, but it's not like that in real life. Like it never can be. And so he
it's
expressed to
long
me that he doesn't like
Yeah.
editing whatsoever. He just wants to edit in camera and then call it a day. And I respect him
that's
for
very controversial. I can just tell the
Wow,
two
yeah.
photographers just got into the
it's-
I don't
Yeah.
agree
They
mode.
got the-
I can
they
just
got the
tell
both
right
hands on
away.
the
I
chin.
can tell.
No.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna ask. So if it's long exposure, does that mean that the waviness of the aurora, like, is it moving around and actually it's more thin, or is it more? What does it look
the
like
aurora.
in real life?
Some days it does look like that. Like we had a day
Uh-huh.
a week ago in the backyard where I didn't have my camera ready, but I did do a time lapse. I'll publish that. Actually, I didn't publish that yet, but that time it was moving so much that I did a long exposure to get the light, and the aurora just came out as like a big green blob on the sky. So some days it's moving so much. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I see.
But other days it's kind of static, and that's the ones where you get the best photos. So when it's the least impressive for your eyes, that's when you get the best photos. But when it's like dancing in the sky, it's hard to get the good photos. So that's why something like a high ISO camera like the Sony's, they're very good for aurora videography. And I've seen some people do that recently in Iceland, and that's huge.
Right there.
That's not the one. If you go to her, maybe if you scroll down, I'll have some more.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going through what I saw here, man. But yeah,
But no, okay, now it's too far down. Yeah,
it's
never
too
mind.
far down. Yeah.
The point is that Northern Lights in photos, they never really look that impressive in real life.
Can you just put some lights up and light it up? Put a couple of 120Ds. Can't you just put a couple lights up there? Problem solved, baby.
Yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, so get back to my points. The tour guide, having to explain to people and curtail their expectations beforehand is a very important part of his job.
I see.
So when it comes to editing, it can be controversial for sure. So
Don't
I
watch
kind of
Peter
like,
McKinnon videos. Watch Peter McKinnon.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. No,
he's horrible.
definitely
The
on
stuff he does. He's the
awful.
opposite.
He's not awful, but he's on the opposite end of the spectrum for sure.
Yeah.
In terms of like your preference for editing.
So yeah, it depends what kind of photography. I spent hours on a single image.
sure.
So Tom.
Yeah, there's obviously no
Yeah.
one
Me too.
answer to this.
Yeah.
For sure, me too. Like especially makeup photography, like fashion portraits, etc. Like I've spent like 6 hours editing skin
Yeah.
Yeah.
on one photo.
With video, I just basically copy the same color style, and then I just copy paste. And I just put it in the same one, and then when I look at it, I just check the levels and all the other stuff, and I just see, okay, maybe I should tone that down. Maybe I should up that up a bit. Maybe I should, tone down this light just a little bit. It's a little strange because you're using drone footage and regular footage, so there's huge differences between the two cameras sometimes. So as a video side, it's a little bit different, but because you have to tweak the images pretty hard in video.
Yeah.
So.
Just shoot in black and white.
Oh yeah, the customer's gonna love that. Oh yeah, the beautiful fall natural colors in black and white. Not really gonna flow for the customer, I think. So.
Can I switch it up, guys? Because Will knows what I'm doing with my YouTube channel right now, the strategy that I'm going for, right? And he said that John would have beef with what I'm doing, or my strategy.
Beef.
Nice beef.
Yeah, beef.
Yeah, maybe not beef. I don't know.
or I think
very
a different strategy.
Probably very opposite. Yeah.
Swing it.
Sure.
I want to hear. I've been doing YouTube for 10 years, so I want to hear.
no
Okay.
idea.
Yeah.
So, as you saw from my channel, I have a bunch of videos and stuff like that I did back in 2020, and those kind of I shot them, I edited, boom, upload right as soon as I can. But for this year, for this strategy, what I decided to do is to shoot as many videos as I can, and edit them and keep them in a backlog, and then just have them saved up. I have 6 or 7 videos that I have right now in my backlog that's just waiting to be just uploaded on a weekly basis. And I'm going to upload them on a weekly basis and just kind of have that kind of consistency for my audience and for like a growing audience, and for the algorithm, of course, and some people may say that that algorithm, it has a mind of its own, and that doesn't really matter, how often you upload, but a lot of people are saying it does matter. So I don't know what the truth is.
Matters, yeah.
So I have like 6-7 videos that are sitting on the burner that I'm gonna upload on a weekly basis. I'm keep making videos, and I'm gonna launch them all. Have like 2-3 months worth of videos content while I'm making more videos. Kind of like a good kickstart for me.
You're gonna drip feed it, basically. You're gonna drip feed the content. Yeah.
So what do you think? Is that wrong, or is that
interesting idea?
Is that okay? Can I do that? Is it gonna work?
No, I think that's great. I don't know why William would think I have beef with that.
No, okay.
No, because
I'm a fan of
beef, but yeah.
Yeah.
But you're
He's
more
putting
like
words in my mouth.
He's in recoil
Easy
back
beef,
there.
but you would, John, you're more like shooting and editing as fast as you can and just dropping
Yeah,
it,
no,
and
when
not trying to make it perfect, right?
exactly. And what
Just-
Alex said about not liking editing, I felt that come back when you were talking about your strategy,
Yeah.
and this is everybody's different, but for me, I know that I would also find editing boring if I did it at that pace, because for me, editing is fun when I do it as soon as possible. It's the tedious effort of having to go back to old footage and figuring out what you
Yeah, I
had in
hate
mind
that.
while you were shooting it. That's the part that makes it so difficult for me. And if I wait on footage for more than a week, the video doesn't get made. Simple as that. And for me, that's fine. Like I'll use my backlog footage for like some sort of voiceover thing in the future, and I've done that many times. But my best videos, the ones that are more alive and have more energy, are the ones that I made in the span of a week, or in a span of a day even. Like a lot of the ones that I made it in one day, and they've been my most popular videos. And I also had the most fun making them. So for me, I like your strategy, but at the same time, having them made close to when they were shot is very important for me.
That's what I'm doing though. I'm doing that.
Oh, good.
I'm just
But the
not
thing is,
uploading.
No,
you're
you're
not
just
gonna- you're not
releasing
gonna-
them. Yeah,
But
yeah, okay. You're just
you're gonna
releasing
eventually
them.
come to a point where you're not
Right,
going to
right.
have consistency anymore. Right?
Exactly,
So if you've
exactly.
got 7 in the pipeline,
Right.
No,
well,
yeah,
what are you
yeah,
going to
yeah.
have? Are you going to have
On
10
that-
more available in 3 months? Like that's what you're saying.
I hope
On
so.
that note, I'm very
I hope I
similar.
keep it up.
I have videos that I've made in the same day that are coming out twice a week now. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but you wouldn't
guess
do it
we're
on a
similar.
camera review. It wouldn't be like, oh, the brand new
Yeah.
Blackmagic, 6K,
Has to be-
and then
has
release
to
it
be
like
timely,
3 months
right?
later. That doesn't make
yeah.
any sense.
Well, that's
So-
why I don't do
but
those.
if it's street
I don't do the
photography,
gas fueled.
you do the
reviews.
gas videos. You do them sometimes.
Not
You do
not the
some.
focal ones. I'll be like, hey, I found this lens in my mom's
Yeah,
garage,
yeah,
and now I'm gonna test it out with the Blackmagic. Like that's
If you do a
it's
product
nothing that I
review,
just bought.
if you do a product review when it first comes out, you can get between 10 and 50,000 views, pretty
Oh, yeah.
much.
Wow.
If you hit it right,
Yeah, yeah,
like you can do really well. But if you're going to do like a how-to tip on blah blah blah, then it might take 3 months. But then 3 months later, you're going to get a shitload of views down the road as people people find you more and more and more. So, and they'll subscribe.
I kind of
They'll
disagree
start-
with
yeah.
the whole like making product review videos while the gear is hot, because I think at the same time you're competing with all these giant channels, and I think as small channels, I mean, I'm just crawling above 3,200 or something subs. The videos that I make, they tend to focus on like older gear, and that's somehow how I found it to be useful. If I were to make like Pocket 6K Pro video, then I would still be competing with all the big shots. So it would be, I don't know. I'm not sure if I would bother doing that, because why? But
Well, you don't have the
that said,
camera
though-
too. You don't have the camera. That's another thing.
No,
You
that's
don't
what I'm
have
saying.
it.
Like I would
Yeah.
go through the effort of buying it and then being stressed to make the video, and then it's a.
But what if
gamble of whether
Blackmagic
or
gave
not
you the
it will
camera and
get-
Blackmagic said, "Oh, John, we love your content. Would you be
Of course,
willing
then I'd
to
do it,
to
of
borrow
course.
it for 2 months? Would you want to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
the
yeah.
first people to have it?" You're going to say, "Hell yeah, I'm going to take it," because you know if you've got the first person to have the 6K, and when you release it the day they release the camera, you're looking at 50,000, 100,000 views or whatever, and that's new people to your channel. So that's how these YouTubers are doing it. They're getting the product for free to review it
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
before right on
Yeah.
product launch day, right? DJI is famous for that.
You need to be big enough for that to happen in
Yeah,
the first place.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
a chicken and egg problem. And so like
Yeah.
once you're at that stage,
true.
you don't have that problem that I'm referring to, where you're competing with the big guys. By that time, you will be one of the big guys. So
Yeah,
That's true.
it's a non-issue for me.
yeah.
That said, though,
That's true.
I do have a friend in the Netherlands who made a video about the Pocket 6K Pro
That's
within
right,
the
you were
week
saying,
when it came out, and that video got pretty popular. So it's not impossible, and definitely not
Yeah, I
impossible.
saw it. I saw it without knowing that you knew that guy, John. So
That's
yeah.
funny, eh? Wow, you actually saw it before, yeah. He
Yeah,
recommended it.
That's
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so that just tells you
But
that that was a
That's also
successful
because
video.
I was so much researching that camera that I watched literally every video on YouTube talking about the camera. Like,
So maybe every
I was
one of
watching-
his 15,000 views came from people like you who watched all the big shots first and then sort of like
yeah, exactly.
trickled into the smaller creators. Oh yeah.
Well, and he was one of the first to actually have the camera and do something
Oh,
with
that's
it,
why,
and not
yeah.
just talk about the release. You know?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
I think
Yeah.
though, sort of getting back to Alex though, I think focus on like what John does, those little intricacies that you find like in your camera stuff, like oh, I like this strap because in street photography you're always on the go. I love this strap, and you just like maybe show 3-4 different straps, and just do a video on straps on your neck. That's just those little videos
yeah.
can do so well for you. And I did gardening videos for 3 years, and I was doing the weirdest gardening videos.
Yeah.
I was in my backyard all the time doing garden videos. Some of my videos got 300,000 views, right? So I mean, it's me in the
Wow.
backyard making potatoes, and just shitloads of views. So I'm just saying, if you make these DIY, you doing your little things that are important to you, somebody's gonna find it interesting. They're gonna love it.
Well, that's.
So,
I was gonna say, like, first of all, Alex is doing that. You found your niche doing street photography in Fukuoka, and again, you have a larger channel by a considerable margin. So I don't wanna be somebody pushing advice because I don't know your situation.
No,
So
I love advice from everyone.
I'm learning
just
from
'cause-
you a lot.
Yeah.
Actually.
Well, thank you. But just because I have a certain number,
there's-
next to my
yeah.
name, it doesn't
Yeah.
really matter so much. I think there's so many great creators. I have one friend who I'm doing a collab with. I did a collab with, coming on my next review of this camera here, the Ricoh GR3.
Nice.
And speaking of doing reviews on older equipment, this is like a 2021 review of this camera that's like a year and a half old at this point. But anyways,
That's a great way to name your video. 2021
Yeah.
review of X.
Exactly.
Like I've
yeah,
done
a lot
that.
of people
in the
do
past.
that.
and there's
This
firmware
camera is
updates,
still,
so it's
still
relevant.
relevant in 2021.
Exactly. And then
Cameras are always
there's been
relevant.
firmware updates, so it's a really relevant review. I find that a lot of reviews for gear and equipment, there's been firmware updates, and it's not like they say it is anymore. You know what I mean? It's better now for a lot of things. But anyways, what was my point? My point was that I appreciate the advice because I have a friend of mine who's doing a collab on that video, and he only has like 2K subs, but this guy is killing it. His videos are amazing. He's a street photographer and great videography too as well. And I mean, like, yeah, it's just a number. Right?
What's his name? Let's give him a shout out.
Ivan Street. IV.
Ivan on the street. I'm going looking for it now. Okay.
UN.
Ivan.
IVUN. I think it's IVUN.
Ivan.
Ivan on the
Yeah,
street.
Ivan dot Street on Instagram, and then on YouTube, Ivan Street. Let's
find him.
make sure.
Is it fair to assume that if we search this, we could find him?
Ivan Chow. Sorry. IVANCHOW, and he's got a black and white picture
Okay.
with
Ivan Chow.
and this
Ivan
dude
Chow.
this dude is crazy good. He does great narrations and he does great simple transitions. And watch that video right there. That one right there. Right there.
Right, that one
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. I love this. It's a very, very simple shot, right? But he has this very, very minor, graphic, elements to kind of explain.
Can you guys actually
And-
hear audio when I turn on the audio? Do you hear it?
No.
No, not really.
No, I
Okay,
don't hear
so
it.
he's not there. Okay.
But I guess for our viewers, this is something that you can check out once we finish our
Yeah.
stream.
So there you
Yeah.
go.
He's
Wow,
from
this
Hong
is some
Kong, and
crazy-
actually he just
What the
moved
hell's wrong with my
to
screen?
Just
this guy
skimming
actually
that
just
video,
moved.
it looks awesome. So I can't wait to
Yeah.
watch it.
Cool.
Yeah. So I actually he just moved to Toronto. He's from Hong Kong, but he moved to
Tirana.
Toronto.
You got to say it right. It's Tirana.
Tirana.
Tirana. We don't
yeah.
say Toronto. We say Tirana.
So
You're from
Tirana.
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 And it's Vancouver.
Vancouver. That's smart.
Honk.
No, Hong Kong, Vancouver.
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 Smart one. Good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, 1.5 million Chinese in Vancouver, right? So
Right.
What do you expect?
Okay.
Well, anyway, I'll keep my eye out for that collab video. I'm sure it's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's actually like so many collaborations that in that one video, like actually like 4 collabs in one video, and it's like collab inception, and it's kind of a joke how I'm doing it. So That's my thing about 2021 is doing collaborations with others, other YouTubers from outside of Japan, from inside of Japan. That's my big thing this year. I feel like to grow on YouTube these days, you have to collaborate with others.
Yep.
No matter they're big or small or whatever, it proves that you are someone who's personable, that you can be someone that's relatable, that you're good to work with other people and talk with other people and have fun and be social and not just sit in your room and review the one thing. And those things are cool too, but
check your email. There should be a message from YouTube. There was one just 2 weeks ago, and they have parties for YouTubers in Fukuoka who have over 1,000 subscribers. And then they match you up with people who have 1,000 or more subscribers, and you get free pizza. And it's usually in Tenjin, and that's how I met some big YouTubers.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
you get free pizza and beer from Google, man. It's pretty cool from YouTube.
I didn't hear anything else you said, but free
check your
pizza,
email.
so-
Check your free pizza.
All right.
And so that's how I met a guy who now has 500,000 subscribers for fishing, and we've
Beautiful.
done fishing collab videos and stuff. And so I recommend
Beautiful.
check your email. You'd be surprised. There's some collab party videos and stuff like that from YouTube. So.
Cool. I'm gonna do.
You heard that first here, LFN. There you go. Check your emails, boys. 1,000 subscribers or more. So, John, did you get yours?
No.
Okay.
My channel is all over the place. I don't even know what locale YouTube thinks I am in. I'm not even sure if they officially realize that I'm in Iceland now.
They do. They ping your phone. That's how they know where you are. So your phone is the way that Google knows where you are all the time. That's why when you go to your maps, it shows that you're in Iceland in your Google Chrome on your desktop. It's because they ping your phone, and they use your phone as access to where you are. So
Cool.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to wrap it up. So you guys can keep going if you want to.
No, I
but,
think we should probably end it here. This has been
Yeah,
epically long.
we should wrap it up probably.
Yeah.
But,
Wow. This
To
has been
summarize
epic.
everything we've gone into.
Yeah,
how
go
can we do
ahead,
that?
John.
Well,
Summarize that one.
I'll do
yeah,
my
you like
best.
doing that.
I mean, I've been taking some notes here.
that's
so
a lot.
Oh yeah, well, so we started pretty quickly. William just showed off his new piece of gear, the Pocket 6K Pro, but we didn't linger on that too long. We quickly went into introducing Alex, who has been amazing today. Thank you so much for being here. Listening to Alex
Thanks, guys.
talk.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's definitely sparked a bit of a. It sparked something within me. I feel like I want to go out with my camera more and just taking photos and capturing moments. Just personal
it.
stuff as well. Just to, like you said, you said you wanted to take revenge on Japan because you didn't document your first time staying there, and it's true. Like it's when you look back at old photos, even if it's just for yourself, it's so important. So we went into that quite deep, just what you're doing and your profession, so to speak, and the way you view it as. You called it a documentarian rather than like a business or something like that, and I like that. It feels very personal to me, and you really brought us along on that journey. Later on, we went into talking sort of like a business side of things, and we didn't stay too long on that. We mentioned a little bit how photography helps videographers in like selling more value to our clients, but we quickly jumped into how mastering photography as a skill affects your skill in videography. So we mentioned how when you're coming from a photography background going into videography, composition will take center stage rather than focusing on movement of the camera and all that fancy gimbal stuff. And we all seem to agree on that proper lighting and composition for your videography is huge, and these are complementary skills that you can learn from videography. So very, very important stuff. And I think William made that point very, very well. And after that, we just went sort of off the rails into like YouTube territory, which I really enjoyed as somebody who is trying to grow myself as a YouTuber. And I enjoyed that quite a lot. And we talked about, the pains of editing video and figuring out a release schedule and trying to manage all of that. I guess that's it for my summary. Hope
Did
I
you
did a
really
good
write
job
all
on
that
one.
down? Did you really write all that down? Wow.
And just quick little dots.
Are you taking you're taking minutes? You're taking minutes on the brainstorm.
I gotta start doing that. I gotta
That's
start
impressive.
taking
That's
notes.
very
That
impressive.
sounds very impressive. Wow, you really summed it up better than
Yeah,
that
great.
should be the YouTube.
Oh,
description.
really? Wow. I thought I was sort of rambly, but I'm glad to hear that.
No,
We should
Good
almost
stuff.
take
It's-
that description and actually make it the YouTube description and call it the what's it called?
I'll,
Synopsis. You should maybe do that and then actually
You can
add that.
you
Yeah, I'll
can
type
go
it.
back to
That's-
that and do the times. You know the timestamps.
Yeah. Oh yeah, get deep,
stuff.
deep. Anyways.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Thanks
Is there
for
anything you want to
the-
add to that, Alex? Like, yeah, now is your spotlight. If you want
Final
to
statement.
advertise something or say something, final words.
Oh yeah, well, my Instagram handle is right there by my name, but anyone
Plug,
is free to send me a message on Instagram, comment on YouTube or anything with me. I'm an open book. I get messages all the time. I try to answer messages as much as I can about anything. So if you have a question about street photography, about what kind of tips, advice, anything like that, I can help out. Give you some help, a little bit of advice. And I think that the main thing I want to encourage people to go out on the street with their camera and take the photos and not be afraid. And what you're doing, taking photos on the street, you have a right to do it, and there's a lot of merit in doing it. So go for it.
Wow.
Cool.
Nice.
Very
So
good.
Go out there,
motivational.
guys. Go find your old Nikon and Canons and get yourself a nice lens on there, and boom, bada bing, start taking some photos again. So yeah, that's awesome. All right, guys. So that's a really long episode tonight. I think we nailed it. Almost 90 minutes. It's a record here. So that's our
Wow.
longest episode
Damn.
overall. That's our our personal best. So yeah, that was good stuff. Next week.
Super enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely. Very good to have Alex on here tonight. Thank you very much, William, for inviting him. And I think maybe we should have another guest next week. I love the idea of guests. I think it adds new blood, new influx of information for us, because
Yeah.
there's only so much we can talk about, but other people coming in really helps us learn something new that we don't know. So I think it's great. If you guys are interested, hit us up, DM us. You know where to find us. And if you guys want to be on the show, we will interview you. Make sure your audio is crispy clean. And we did check Alex's audio, and it was super spicy. So
Thanks, guys.
Good job. Your Yeti's, your blue Yeti.
That was
there
advice
very
from
good.
Will. Will told me to get
Yeah.
the blue Yeti
Which-
here. So
Which I got from John.
Hey, man, I wish I
right.
had my Blue Yeti now. Such a nice one.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So that's it.
Good
That's
stuff.
our show. Thanks for watching LeFilmNation. We'll be back next week, 8 o'clock as usual. And as always, guys, peace. See you next week.
Peace.
Have a good one.